friends, welcome. Welcome back to Godly Play at Home. When you're ready to listen, to learn, to do some work, to do some wondering together, let's head into the classroom. I'm so excited for today. Let's go. Alrighty, it's that time. We're gonna move our arrow ahead 1 week, and look, we're on that very last Sunday of Lent. This is Palm Sunday. It's the beginning of Holy Week. We're about to enter into the holiest week of the Christian year, and on the other end of it, this marvelous day. I'm so glad that you're here. Let's turn it over to Teacher Andrea and hear the continuation of our Lenten journey.
Good morning, friends. I'm so happy to be here with you again as we make our way down the Lenten road. We've already heard 5 weeks worth of Lent stories, and today we are going to hear number 6. So if everybody's ready, I will get out our story. It's a long story. I hope you're ready. In the beginning, the baby was born. God chose Mary to be the mother of God. Listen carefully. Listen to those words. God chose Mary to be the mother of God. And the Word was born, a wordless child. When the baby looked up into the face of the Mother Mary, he already saw the cross. And when he looked into the face of the Father Joseph, the cross was there too. Mary and Joseph held the baby close. They kept the baby warm. They gave the baby everything that he needed to grow. And he began to grow. The baby grew and became a boy. And when he was about 12 years old, Jesus traveled with the Mother Mary and the Father Joseph and many other people from their village in Nazareth to the great city of Jerusalem to celebrate one of the high holy days. When the celebration was over, Mary and Joseph and many other people from their village went out through the gates and headed toward home. Suddenly, they realized that Jesus was not with them. They thought he had been playing with the other children as they walked along the road. They hurried back through the gates to look for him. They looked in the dark and narrow streets. They looked in the marketplace where they had bought their food. They looked in the place where they had spent the night. They looked everywhere. Finally, they even looked in the temple, and there he was, talking with the rabbis, the priests. When he talked, they listened because he knew so much. And when they talked, he listened because he wanted to know more. Then Mary and Joseph asked Jesus the question that all parents ask their children, the one you can never answer. Why did you do this? And Jesus said something very strange. He said, "Didn't you know I would be in my Father's house?" Mary and Joseph didn't understand. Their home was in Nazareth, where Joseph's carpentry shop was. They didn't understand, but they did not forget. Jesus grew and became a man. And when he was about 30 years old, he went down to the river Jordan, where his cousin John was baptizing people. Do you see John? You can just see the back of his head right here. He was a wild man. Jesus waded into the river and came face to face with John and said, "Baptize me." John looked at Jesus as if seeing him for the very first time. Now he saw who he really was. John said, "I can't baptize you. You are the Messiah, the one we have been waiting for. You must baptize me." But Jesus said, "No. It is written that you must come before me and prepare the way. Baptize me." And so John took Jesus down into the dark and chaos of the water. And when John lifted him back up into the light, there were people there who said that they had seen a dove come down close to him. There were also people there that day who said they heard a voice that said, "This is my beloved Son, for whom I am well pleased." After Jesus was baptized, he went on across the river and into the desert. He stayed there for 40 days and for 40 nights to learn more about who he really was and what his work was to be. Jesus went into the desert to learn more about who he was supposed to be and what his work would be. He stayed there for 40 days and 40 nights. There was very little to eat or drink. One day, he heard a voice. It said, "Why don't you pick up one of those stones over there and turn it into bread and have something to eat?" But Jesus said, "No. To be a real human being, we need more than just bread to eat." And then it was as if Jesus were on top of the great temple in Jerusalem. The voice came back and said, "If you really are the Son of God, why don't you jump and see if God will send his angels to catch you before you hit the stones below?" But Jesus said, "No, we do not need to test God." And then it was as if Jesus could see every kingdom in all of the world. And the voice came back again and said, "If you will follow me, I will make you king over all of these kingdoms." But Jesus said, "No, I am to be a king, but not that kind of king." And then the voice went away, and Jesus walked out of the desert to begin his work. But what was his work? When Jesus left the desert, he began to do his work. But what was his work? Jesus' work was to come close to people, especially the people that no one else wanted to come close to. See here, Jesus has come close to this blind man. He has come so close that he is touching his eyes. When Jesus came close to people, they changed. They could see things they had never seen before. They could do things they had never done before. They became well. Jesus also told parables. And finally, he realized he had to become a parable. And so he turned toward Jerusalem for the last time. Jesus went to Jerusalem for the last time. It was the time of the Passover, and the city was full of people from many different lands. They thought Jesus was coming to be king, but they weren't paying attention. Jesus didn't ride into the city on a great white horse. He wasn't being carried by soldiers. He was riding on a donkey, and it wasn't even his. He had borrowed it. Still, that Sunday, Jesus rode into Jerusalem, and the people still waved palm branches, for that was a sign of the King. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Jesus went to the temple to teach. And every night he went to the Mount of Olives with the 12. The people watched and whispered. They said the Mount of Olives was where angels were going to come down and form an army to drive away the Roman soldiers. One day when Jesus was teaching in the temple, he said, "Look over there. Do you see that old woman? She has brought something to put in the money box. Listen. Did you hear it? No? She put the smallest coin that there is into the money box. That was all that she had. Now, look over there. There is a rich man. He has brought so much money that he has to have help carrying it. When he puts his money into the money box, it makes a loud ringing and clanging noise. Now, I wonder who really gave the most. Some people say it was the rich man who gave the most. Others say it was the old woman. The Roman guards said, "On Thursday, we will take him." But on Thursday, they couldn't find him. That evening, Jesus and the 12 hurried through the dark streets to a house. They climbed a set of stairs to an upper room where they shared their Last Supper together. After they had all had everything they needed to eat, Jesus took a loaf of bread. He gave thanks to God for it and broke it and said something like, "Whenever you are together and break bread like this, I will be here." Jesus also took a cup of wine, gave thanks to God for it, and said, "Whenever you share a cup of wine like this, I will be here with you." What was he talking about? He was always saying things like this. The 12 didn't understand, but they didn't forget, and soon they would understand. Suddenly, Judas got up and left. The rest sang a hymn together and went to the Garden of Gethsemane on the Mount of Olives. Jesus wanted to pray. And when he finished, he joined the others. And Judas came out of the darkness to greet him. This was the signal for the Roman guards to get Jesus. They too came out of the darkness and took Jesus away into the shadows. The 12 disappeared into the darkness as well. Well, now I would like to invite each one of you to look around your space and see if there is something nearby that you could bring to place beside this picture to tell more about this part of the story. The part of the story where Jesus shares the bread and the wine. So we'll pause our video for a minute, and I invite you to find something. I'm going to find something here in our classroom, and we'll come back together and share what we brought. Okay, see you soon. All right, welcome back. Were you able to find something to bring to place beside this part of the story? I brought a table and a plate for bread and a cup of wine. It's from our story from the World Communion. And I thought, for me, this helps me tell more about this part of the story. Would you like to share what you brought? Let's see. Wonderful. See, when we all bring something, it helps us tell more about this part of the story. So thank you for sharing those things. All right, we are going to put away our stories for today. And it's time for us to get out our work and spend some time working in quiet. And maybe you will choose to work with your own Lenten story at home, continue building that. Maybe you have something else in mind that you're working on. I'm sure you'll choose something wonderful. So let's have a fabulous work session, and we will come back together and have feast soon. See you soon.
Welcome to Work Friends. You can do whatever you want to do today, but maybe you're like me and you want to continue work on your Lenten road. Look, just one purple square left. Here is the picture from today's story, Jesus at the Last Supper. There he is with his bread and the wine. Here is my interpretation of that a picture, Jesus with a tiny little bread and a tiny little cup of wine. And now the purple spaces on my Lenten road, they're all full of wonderful stories of Jesus. And there's just this beautiful white square, mysteriously empty, waiting for next week's story. I can't believe that Easter is next week. It's amazing. Well, go ahead and press pause when you're ready to work and take all the time that you need when you're done and happy with what you've accomplished. And I hope that you learned something from what you're doing today and have a great time doing it. Press play and join us for Feast. All right, see you soon.
It's time for us now to gather for our feast. So I hope that you have put away your work and everything looks tidy in that workspace so that you can come and enjoy a feast with me and Pastor Lee and whoever else is in your home. Let's give thanks for this feast. Our Heavenly Father, thank you again for sharing another piece of Jesus' story. We're almost to the end of Lent, and we are so looking forward to discovering the mystery of Easter. Please bless this food so that it can do your will. Amen. Let's feast. Friends, thank you so much for being here to be a part of our story in Lent. I wish you all a blessed week and look forward to next Sunday when we get to be together and celebrate Easter and find out the true mystery of Easter. We'll see you then.